Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into the story of Perplexity AI. They're a startup taking on one of the biggest giants in tech, and they have a mission to fundamentally change, well, how we find information.
This single, pretty audacious thought from the founder, Arvind Srinivas, it just perfectly captures the David and Goliath battle happening right now. It's the heart of this new war for search, and it's a mission that questions a monopoly that's been in place for, 2 decades now?
So, how on earth does a small startup, one that was basically born from academic principles, become a major challenger to Google? Well, it starts by redefining the problem altogether.
Perplexity launched back in December 2022. And get this, it was just 1 week after ChatGPT burst onto the scene. They're not trying to be just another search engine. No, they're trying to be an answer engine. So instead of that list of 10 blue links you have to sift through, it just gives you a direct, synthesized answer with all the sources right there.
And really, the story of Perplexity is completely inseparable from its founder, Arvind Srinivas. His path was, let's just say, anything but typical for a Silicon Valley disruptor.
Srinivas's journey is pretty incredible. It took him from India's top engineering school all the way to the most prestigious AI labs in the world, places like OpenAI and DeepMind. This gave him a front-row seat to the AI revolution. He saw firsthand the sheer power of these large language models.
While he was studying at Berkeley, he got really inspired by reading about Google's founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, who, were also academics. And that's when Srinivas realized if he wanted to pursue his own massive goals, entrepreneurship was really the only path forward.
Okay, so what exactly is an answer engine, and how does it actually work differently than what we're all used to? Well, it really comes down to the kind of questions you ask.
All right, let's dive into this. Think about Google. It's built for quick navigation using short keywords, right? The median search is literally just 2 to 3 words long. But Perplexity, it's designed for these deep, conversational questions. The median query here is over 10 words. It's built for actual research, not just for finding a website.
And this Copilot feature, this is a perfect example of that difference in action. Instead of you needing to be some kind of expert prompter, the AI itself starts asking you clarifying questions. It's kind of like talking to a friend who helps you figure out what you really want to know. It guides you from just a vague curiosity to a super precise answer.
So how does it all work? Well, the magic behind this whole new approach is a technology called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. This is the key. This is what provides trustworthy, up-to-date answers.
So instead of just relying on its fixed training data, which, can be months or even years out of date, RAG lets a model look things up on the live internet in real time before it even formulates an answer.
This simple 3-step process is what lets Perplexity give you current, verifiable information. First, it figures out what it needs to search for. Then it goes and finds it. And finally, it writes an answer based only on that fresh information, complete with citations so you can check its work. This quote, this is the perfect metaphor for understanding RAG. A standard AI, like the original ChatGPT, is basically taking a closed book exam. It can only answer from its fixed memory. But a RAG-powered model, it gets to take an open book exam, using the entire internet as its textbook to find the right answer. That's a game changer.
But even with way better technology, changing habits is hard. I mean, with any disruptive tech, there's always this wave of skepticism. You see it play out on forums like Hacker News all the time. One group will focus on what they think is a drawback, like this comment about EV charging times, and they just assume the new way is worse.
But then, someone who's actually done it comes along and replies, hey, it's actually pretty good. And that's the exact dynamic we're seeing play out with AI search right now. The idea of it might seem strange or slow, but the users who actually try it are discovering it's a fundamentally better way to find information. So how did a tiny startup, armed with this tech, grow so incredibly fast in a market dominated by giants? Well, they had a very clever and very capital-efficient strategy.
And that strategy? Oh, it paid off. Big time. After a 17 times jump in just 1 year, Perplexity's valuation skyrocketed to an incredible $9 billion. That attracted investment from heavyweights like Jeff Bezos and NVIDIA, who all saw the massive potential in their approach. So here's the brilliant part of Perplexity's playbook. They decided to be a clever integrator, not a model builder. While the giants were spending billions training their own AIs, Perplexity just used the best available models from other companies. And that move freed them up to stay nimble and focus all their energy on just one thing: creating the best user experience possible.
This relentless focus on the product led to absolutely explosive growth. They scaled from just a few thousand queries a day at launch to over 4 million in about a year. I mean, that's more than a 1,000-fold increase. Just incredible.
And this advice from an early investor really highlights their core strategy. See, they aren't trying to steal Google's existing users, the ones who are just navigating to a website. No, they're focused on building an entirely new market for people who want deep, complex, reliable answers.
But this isn't just a business story. For Srinivas, it's about something much more profound. It's about changing how we interact with knowledge itself, and, maybe, amplifying what makes us human.
He has this belief that as AI gets better and better at giving us answers, it's not going to make us less curious. Actually, just the opposite. He thinks it will amplify our most human trait, our innate curiosity, and the practice of just relentless questioning.
Think about it. In a world where all of humanity's knowledge is instantly accessible and verifiable, the most important skill won't be knowing the answers. It's going to be asking the right questions. The answers are really just the beginning. The real journey starts with what you ask next.